Hi, welcome Virgo to my channel. My name is Adela and I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I use astrology, numerology, psychology and self-realization teachings to do my readings and to give you a guidance that might help you throughout your day, month and year, whenever you have any difficulties to come further in your life. So I'm doing a reading for 2020. I will shuffle the cards for you so you can see what cards we get for you. I will get a card for each of the months for 2020, and then I will sit with them for a while in order to understand and to give you a higher interpretation of that reading for 2020. And then I will come back to do the reading for you. So, let me choose the cards for you. So here I am back with your reading, to do the reading for you. After I've been sitting with the cards for a while and thinking about the highest interpretation of this reading. And you will have a wonderful reading, and because it will be a very good and productive and successful year for many of us, for many of the signs in 2020, because what is happening astrologically, Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, good luck, expansion and gifts, is moving to Capricorn, or has moved in December 2019, which is an earth sign. Capricorn is a sign which leads us all to reach our goals, to have a systematic way of working and planning, to work efficiently, not to lose time, to have results basically. And Capricorn will be the filter through which the energy of Jupiter reaches to us on Earth. And especially for you, Virgo, which you are Earth sign too, Jupiter in Capricorn, it's very helpful because it's like you are getting special support from Jupiter being in Capricorn. But in Capricorn, it's not only Jupiter, but it's Saturn as well, and Pluto. They have been there from before. Pluto is in Capricorn since 2008 and will be there until 2024-25, and Saturn has been in Capricorn since end of 2017 and will be in Capricorn until the end of 2020. And Saturn as well has been fostering you and all of us to do the necessary work to make those changes that we want to make in our lives, and to introduce maybe new interests. So has brought us further in our learning process, but has asked of us as well to do the necessary work. And maybe we have felt, or you have felt as well in the last year, like you have been working, but you have not maybe been satisfied and not getting the results that you wanted to get. But in 2020, through Jupiter, we will finally get some satisfaction, some tangible satisfaction from the work that we have been doing under the influence of Saturn. And the tests that Saturn has been sending us, we will feel in 2020 that finally we are having some real results in our everyday life. And Pluto, which is a much slower planet, has been in Capricorn too, and has fostered us to go a much more deeper process and asking more important questions about what do we really want to take in our future and what do we want to leave behind. So maybe in these last years you have felt like you have lost something, and losses are always painful, but they help us as well to grow. So maybe you have been losing a job, or a near person to you, or maybe a passion that you had and you have been doing for long, but then for some reasons you could not pursue it anymore. So maybe that has been Pluto, which has been poking us and fostering us to grow in another way, in a way that maybe it's much more painful and related to emotions too. Okay, but let's start with your reading. So in January you have the Nine of Swords, which is this card here, which is for me the January card. It's more a card that tells us a little bit about the energies and the way you are feeling about 2019 or about the past. So maybe you are worried about something. So you are entering 2020 with being worried about a certain situation in your life. But I have to say that this is something that is going inside of you. It's not something that is happening in your everyday life. So you are not worried because an event, it may be, but it's more like an existential question. Sometimes we have some sort of anxieties and fears that are irrational. And when we sleep at night, maybe when we are having some problems in the everyday life, then we find ourselves sleepless at night, but worrying not only about those real events, but about questions that are much more bigger than them, like who am I, what am I doing, what am I going to do, does this all make sense at all in my life? So suddenly the worries and the fears that we may face in our everyday life, when meeting our unconscious fears, become bigger and become irrational and become not tangible. So this is a sort of worrying situation about, it's a general fear, and it's a little bit an irrational fear, and it's caused by thoughts in your mind. It's a mind-related fear that makes you wake up in the middle of the night and maybe you don't really know what you are afraid of, afraid about. But this can be as well related to something real, And if it's like that, maybe it's related to a relationship or a work relationship. Because I always see this scene here under the bed where two people are sort of fighting. One is on the ground and the other one, I feel like it's with a sword fighting the other person. So there might have been a fight in a relationship or in the work, a power-related struggle. But to me, this is more like something more existential. It's you worrying about where you're going and what is happening in your life. We must say though that Jupiter, it's transiting in your 5th house during 2020. And the 5th house rules creativity, children, romance, and speculation. That's why I'm saying maybe this is related to a relationship. And it's a romantic relationship or work-related relationship. But this may as well be related to creativity and to something that you want to do or something that you feel you want to do. Or you want to include in your life, and maybe you are not so happy right now. And I'm saying that this is like an internal fight or anxiety or worry. And it's related to the unknown because we see like these swords, and these swords are your thoughts of fear and anxiety, and behind that is just like a black unknown space. We see here the bed and everything that it's supposed to be in a room, but this darkness behind does not really belong to this room or to this reality. It's something that is in your mind. So it's about the unknown. But it's a process that it's coming to an end because it's a 9. You're almost done with a sort of transformation. And this is for me happening in the inside because in February and to me, each of the cards represents 1 month, but they can as well be understood as an energy that is happening parallel to the other energies or as a narrative consequently. So I relate this to February, but maybe this is happening at the same time with what we have in January. And the Knight of Wands represents for me in this reading what is happening with you in the outside world. So you are working on your projects and you are successful because we see here this knight with a beautiful horse in movement, going somewhere, having a very nice position, having achieved already something. It's not a page, it's a knight already, and it is passionate, and he's working, it's fiery energy, and he has a wand in his hand, so it's a lot related to passionate and successful progress in your outside world, in your life. You already have a project that you are working on, and the project is this beautiful horse that is carrying you. It's a grounded energy because he is on the ground, he is going somewhere. Yeah, so it's a quite progressive, positive card representing what is happening outside you in your everyday life, what you have achieved, but maybe you want something more. And I understand that you want to expand, like we all want to expand. And the other thing that this card represents is that this night is in a little bit dry environment. We don't see much nature, we don't see much water, we don't have an inspiring landscape. And maybe this is something that you want to work towards too. You want to make changes in your environment, in your working environment, because you have achieved something already. And as a Virgo, we know that you want to be grounded, you are practical too, you want to feel secure, you want to ride on a beautiful and safe horse. And once you have achieved this and still have like a good and wonderful appearance and feel safe and secure within yourself too, because he's like wearing his armory. So after you have achieved these things and you've been working hard for them, now maybe it's time for you to want to add something else. But you are in a very beautiful position in your life in terms of work and project that you are passionate about. In March, we have the Moon card. And the Moon card here as well is related to something that is happening inside of you, apart from this, which is like your outside world. And this is what is happening with you in your unconscious. Maybe not like, it's not that you are not aware of it, but we know, all of us, what happened to us after we go home and after we are alone with ourselves. And so we retreat and we go in our safe place and we think. And sometimes if we don't do that during the day, we do that during the night, unconsciously in our dream, or we wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking. But what the difference between this card and this card is that you are asked in March to take the time to take those worries or questions that you have suddenly during the night, or like those worries and fears, take time and deal with them in a conscious way. So basically, dealing consciously with your fears, with your worries, with your subconscious, like the things that are subconscious, or spirituality, or the deeper level of your what makes you as a human. This card represents as well the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. And astrologically in Pisces we have now the planet, the Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces, actually has been in Pisces since 2012, and it will stay there until 2026. And Neptune is the planet of Pisces. So let's say it's in its stronger position. So this influence that Neptune is having in the world, it's filtered through the sign of Pisces, and it falls in your 7th house. Is transiting in your 7th house, which is as well a house ruling relationship, partnership, marriage. And Capricorn is transiting, Jupiter is transiting in Capricorn in the 5th, which is the house of creativity and romance. So it's much happening for you. And so maybe what you need to integrate into your daily work, daily life, is this faraway aspect of you that is represented through Pisces. And Pisces, it's all about intuition, transcendency, feeling, creativity, art, karma, secrets, things that are hidden, much deeply hidden to our consciousness. So in March, after you have maybe in 2019 and maybe in January have this popping up, like these fears that pop up time after time, or worries walking on your door to let you know something. In March, you are asked to actually deal with them in a conscious way. And here we see this crayfish, no? It's a crab. And while we see this card here, and this is the moon, I think the character, like the main character of this card, is this crab, this crayfish, which is going outside of the water, and there is a path that brings, this path is leading at this mountain. And there is dog, and there is a wolf, and there is the moon and the sun at the same time, and there are these 2 towers, and there are like this, even like this different environments, the water, the earth, the green, the mountains, and then the sky, and then the moon and the sun. So there is like a path that is awaiting you. There is something in you that has been awakened, which might be a new passion, or that creative side of you that you want to introduce in your life, in your everyday work or projects, like this element of water and depth that you want to bring in this dry environment. But there is still a path that is awaiting you. But the most important thing in March is to consciously stare at this development that is happening. It's not anymore hidden and unconscious. It's like you are taking time to deal with it. And you sort of will understand that is a process that you have to do. And maybe, Neptune in Pisces and your opposite sign, it's not easy, but it's calling you to do that. And just be aware that you are astrologically in a very good position, because you have these major things happening in earth signs which are supporting you in Capricorn, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, and Pluto, and in Taurus, We have Uranus as well since March 2019. So there are a lot of things happening in the skies, but they are happening in earth signs, which give you a grounded energy. And then there is like Neptune in the middle on the opposite sign of yours, pulling you a little bit down in a way. But then you have like this basement. You have to trust yourself that you have been doing the necessary work to give yourself stability, and now it is time for you to open up a little bit and to maybe take more Piscean energy, which is like a complementary energy that you can add to your character. But just taking, first you have to open up. And this is as well a card that may be related to fear, but you have to go through it. And you have the necessary knowledge and practicality to trust yourself that emotionally or in terms of intuition, you can trust yourself. It's much more difficult for a Piscean to deal with its nature and with this deeper awareness. But you can see even like in this card how all these different realities sort of come together in one card, and that's possible, but it's just something that you have to go through. In April, you have the Magician. It's the first card of the major arcana, and it's a nice energy that we are all maybe having in April, and it is related to the first sign of the horoscope, Aries energy. It is fire energy, it is initiation, it is trying out, taking a leap of faith and trying out or integrating something that you want to include in your life. But whenever we start to work on something new or include something new, we start by imagining it and by manifesting it. So the first step, or what the magician is calling you to do, is to manifest your future, your working environment, your relationship, because I really feel that this reading here is probably romance and work related reading. It even may be something that it can be related for you. I will talk about it later. But here the magician is manifesting something. He already have the 4 elements of that appear in the minor arcana, the pentacle, the cup, the sword, and the wand. So they are all in his table. He already have all of them. He wants to include them in his vision, in the future, in the infinity. But what he has in his hand is another element that sort of looks into the future, and the other hand points in the ground, so it's a grounded energy. And for me, the magician is like an actor staging, showing up. So you maybe want to start showing up or including this energy or this interest of yours that has been hidden, maybe this creative side of you want to start imagining it in your life. And if it is a romantic issue, you are imagining a future where all the elements are in it. Because maybe before you have been thinking like, okay, I need a partnership that gives me security and we think alike, but maybe emotions and love and passion are not so important. But now that you already have achieved that stability yourself with your project and your work, and maybe you have even had relationship when you had the same kind of thinking with other people, you understand that emotions and passion are equally important. They just complement each other. So this moment in April is very important for you, either to think about your ideas, about your work and your relationship and your romance, what you want to have, or start manifesting them from a new point in your life. Now, the magician can as well be a person that comes in your life, a romantic person that re-emerges maybe or appears, because in May we have the Ace of Cups, which is a romantic, maybe emotion-related, passion-related offer, or something related to emotion and to passion. It's entering your life. Now, this may be this creative side that you may have been identifying, working on it, and now it's manifesting, or you are creating it, like, you know, you are taking a creative course in painting, or you have always been passionate about theater, and now you are taking you are having the idea to write a blog about theater, or somebody's offering you something where you can work with your creative side. Or this magician is offering you this cup, like this person, like can be a romantic offering. Now, because of all these cards that have been there before, and because this is a long journey that you have to do, this introducing new passions and new creative sides of yours into your life, or let's say let them in or open up emotionally. This cup, it's beautiful, it's passion, but it's a promise. So it's not something tangible. So please be aware of that. And in the bottom of the deck, you have the Ace of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card. And the difference between the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups is that the Ace of Pentacles is something tangible. It's something real. It's an investment. You see it. It is the beginning of something, but which is rooted. You already see the landscape. You know where you are. There is a beautiful entrance. There are flowers. There is a mountain. There is a future. It is money related. It's something that you see. It's stability. While the Ace of Cups, it comes from the waters. It's something emotional. It's maybe even something that is being offered to you from an emotional point of view. So what you need to be aware while you are doing this transformation process, that it's happening on the emotional or the spiritual level, is that you don't want to give up your Virgo characteristics, which is being real, being tangible, being grounded. So you want to work from this point on. First, you have to make sure with everything that you do, is this tangible? Does this have a future? And then the cup can be added to it. Then the emotional level comes on top of it. It's just an added value. It's not, you don't want to start with this, something serious. Yes, this is welcome, but then you need time to see if this is real, if this is followed by Ace of Pentacles. So you have to make sure all next year, and that's what Uranus in Capricorn is asking of you, to be tangible, to be real, to see results, to settle. It's about grounding and settling and seeing things for real. It's not about emotions. It is about emotion, but it is about emotion on top of this grounding energy. So if you are getting an offer, maybe it's a love offer from this magician, be careful with the magician, because sometimes, as I said, the magician is the beginning of something, and the magician talks about manifestation. But if the magician does not do the work, this manifestation is not going to happen. And if you are manifesting something for yourself, for the future, in terms of your relationship or work, or expanding your work, you want to have all these elements included in whatever comes in your future. So when you get a cup, let's say you want to have a relationship, but somebody is offering you or is being present only emotionally, or offering to you only their love and passion, but they are not stable, they don't have the foundation, they don't have the thinking, they don't have project passions that they are working on, they are not stable. You know that it's not grounded, so you don't want to take this, let's say. Or if this is a new project, then you have to make sure, does it really sit right? Does it make sense for you? Is it something that that has a future? So this Ace of Pentacles is the energy that it's important for you to take with you in 2020, and to always see if this fits with your standards, with your Virgo standards, which is something that you have been developing and have achieved in your life, and you don't want to give this up. You just want to add on top of this. Now in June, you have the Strength card. And that's what I'm saying. If this is an offer from the magician, you want to be careful. You want to be strong enough to really be in true conversation with yourself and with your goals. And your goals are to have all of these elements in whatever thing you do in your life, be it relationship, be it work, be it health. Is it tangible? Is it real? Is it sustainable? Is it emotional? Is it loving? Is it thoughtful? Does it make sense? Do I have the right knowledge? Does this fit to everything that I know about this topic or this, I don't know, relationship? And does it have passion? And does it have possibility to grow? So that's what you need this strength for. And strength can be double-sided, because sometimes in order to know and in order to learn, we have to let things in, even if we know that maybe they will not be the right thing, but we know that we have to try. So you have to find the strength in yourself according to yourself and to your needs in this moment of time, because it's even maybe strong, and strength for you at this time means letting in something like this. Even if you are not sure, even if you know that the pentacle is not there yet. Because as an earth sign, because you always want to be sure of everything, you always start with a pentacle. But maybe now in your life you think like, I have to try to do it differently. And maybe you need the strength to let this in. Whatever this is, you have to decide for yourself and see. But my advice is just keep in mind that you need all these 4 elements. You have come so far because that's what you want to manifest. That's what you want to include in your life. And go beyond that. Have a higher purpose. And you achieve all of this by having a higher purpose. By not concentrating on all of them, but concentrating on something that is beyond them. And then they fall into place. But with your practicality, we know that you want stability first. And as I said, either it's strength to let this in or not to let this in. And maybe this is a collaboration too, that you want to let in your work life, or a romantic offer. And the strength card here as well, it's about including the energy of the lion, or redirecting the energy of the lion, and make turn it into your advantage. So whatever this is, it's the strength of knowing that whatever you do, either accept this or not accept this, you will be able to turn it into your advantage. Yes, and the strength card has this infinity symbol as the magician too. So there's like an infinite possibility, or infinite strength, or this transformation moment. Like, this is strength in itself, knowing to use everything in your advantage. So in June you are asked to tap in this sort of strength within yourself, to transform whatever it comes into your advantage and into a higher purpose, which is something that points toward an infinite dimension. It's very spiritual, but I hope you understand. I think you do understand. And in July, we have the 3 of Swords. It's a little bit related to this 9 of Swords, but yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, you need this strength here to either accept or not, and be open to whatever it happens. And you know, maybe things will not work out with this offer at this point, with this approach, if it is a romantic thing, you might be accepting a relationship or a person into your life based on emotional connection. And maybe you are being strong enough to accept that, even if you are not sure if this is something grounded, long-term, and maybe you are getting hurt because of that. But if you have that strength, if you did this consciously, then you would know how to deal with this moment. But even if you don't let something in, and as a result of that you feel disappointed, you feel hurt, because sometimes, you know, a decision is a decision. It can hurt you both ways. Or like you are being strong enough not to take that romantic, emotional proposition because it does not have the 4 elements in it. And even if you would like to, even if you feel drawn toward it, you are being strong enough to believe in yourself, to know what you want to have, and to realize that without this element, this cup cannot function. But as a result of that, you might feel hurt. But you are strong enough to deal with that, to better accept the pain than something long-term that maybe has a much longer painful effect on you. Anyway, the 3 of Swords is a moment of pain. Now, this can as well be a disappointment. Yes, disappointment and pain is the same thing. But maybe this can be a disappointment that is happening in your environment because you did something different, because maybe you were doing this kind of work. Let's say you have this kind of project, this kind of outward influence, image, but then you start including something else into this environment, and then you are like, okay, I'm strong enough to make a change, to add something because I believe in it. And people who are following you, who know you, who know your work, who know the way you work, they are being disappointed. They are hurting. They are saying things that maybe you don't like to hear. And you are being hurt this way too. But I see you being strong enough in doing those changes. Every change will bring pain in a way or in another. Pain of growing. Like when you go in the gym and the day after your body is hurting. It's because something is happening to you. In July you had the 3 of Swords, and in August you have the 5 of Cups. And this 5 of Cups, it's an emotional moment. It's a moment of, you know, after this is like an event. After this is happening, you are taking the time to feel that pain, which is amazing. Because most of the time we go from being hurt to going out there and continuing with our work as nothing happened. And then we carry those pains with us, and then we wake up at the middle of the night not knowing why we are feeling that way. But when we are hurting and when there is pain and we take the time to be with that pain, to feel that pain, because this person is standing tall, he is feeling pain, he is crying, he is being sad, he is stopping for a moment, but he is staying tall. In a way, he is embodying, he is owning this moment too. And that is the strength that you have been developing, Virgo. And if you have come to this point to have this emotional emotional grown up way of dealing. This is amazing progress that you have been doing, of knowing how to deal with yourself emotionally and what do you need to do with yourself, for yourself, in order to move on. You know that you have to feel the things that you have to feel and take responsibility for them and stand tall and cry and be sad, but you know as well that it is just a moment, because here we see there is a bridge. So this person is just crying here for those cups that are on the ground, that are emptied, that cup that maybe was offered and it didn't bring what it was supposed to bring, but you still let it in, and then you are just, well, you know, you will continue your journey. There is the bridge and you will have to go, but you are just taking a moment in July to cry, to be sad, to feel the pain, because that just shows strength, and that just makes you stronger. You are emotionally mature. You have integrated all the emotional sides of yourself and you know how to deal with them. In September, you have the Hanged Man. And this is a beautiful card, and I like it that it came here together with the moon, because it's related. This is a moment of suspension. This is a moment of patience. This is a moment of taking time. This is a moment of reflecting on what has been happening so far. Why is this thing here not working? If it was an emotional romantic relationship, why it hasn't been working? Or if it was a work-related relationship, how will I go on from this? How will I be able to find the strength to transform what has been happening here? It's a moment of trying to find a different way of reading of what has been happening, or of finding a new perspective. But most of all, it's a moment of patience. And I like that this person here, although he's hanging, he does not seem to be very worried or uncomfortable. He knows that he's hanging there for a period of time, he is even illuminated by this position. He will acknowledge something because of this position. And I like this card because for me this card is related as well to meditation. Because I don't know if you meditate, but the people who meditate, they will know that meditation sometimes it's not a comfortable position to be in. It's just because it is totally unusual for us to sit without moving for such a long time and relax and believe that we are there where we are supposed to be, and close our eyes and let the world move beside us in order to achieve a moment of quietness where we can relate to the highest voice and version of ourselves in us. If you have not been meditating, I encourage you to start meditating. Already here, this is a crucial moment because you are moving outside of the waters of the unconsciousness. And meditation, it's a route and a path that takes you out of the unconscious toward the conscious and the superconscious. If you never heard about the superconscious, please just Google or look at the teachings of self-realization as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda and his disciples and Ananda School of Yoga and Meditations. Because when I discovered the superconsciousness, that was like a new level of opening for me. And for you, Virgo, this is a crucial moment in your development, especially with the Neptune being in your opposite sign of Pisces. It's like an energy that is pulling you in that direction. But just be aware not to hang in this unconsciousness that Pisces represents to and that Neptune represents to. Take the higher aspect of Neptune and Pisces, because once Pisces is able to identify their the higher understanding of what they represent, that is amazing. So you have to tap into that higher awareness that Pisces and Neptune represents, and which are on the other side of your character. So please find ways to meditate, or other ways that bring you to this higher spiritual side of yourself. And this is something that you want to integrate into your work, into your everyday work, that you want to bring out in your projects. And this is, if this is something that didn't happen romantically, it is meant to be like that. But through this hanged man position, you will be able to transform that what happened to you into something constructive. And I say that because in October you have the Queen of Cups, which for me is the energy of Pisces. It's that higher aspect of a Pisces being in its power, being possessing and embodying and taking charge of that energy that it represents. And it's all concentrated in this cup that the Queen of Cups has in her hands, sitting in this beautiful throne. And this is what she has created. It's this cup, which is in itself like an artwork. Of course, she has much more than that, because she's a queen. She has a kingdom. But at this moment, we see her having not the same cup as the cups that we see in the deck. This is a creative cup. You see this cup here and see what happened to this cup here. She is able to transform this cup that was given to her, although it was painful and she had to suffer. She has been taking the time and doing something with it. So here you are asked in October to do something with your pain, with your experience, with something that didn't work. How will you transform it? And you have the strength to transform it. And you have the strength to be grounded, to sit on your throne and to integrate that which happened to you in a transformed way into your environment. And this will be something that you will be satisfied with yourself. So here in October, you are taking more of the Queen of Cups energy, which I love that it's beautiful, because this was what you had so far in your work, and now you're becoming this. It's a much more creative environment. It is stable. It's much more pleasant to be. It's much more, it has much more depth. And this cup here, if you see this crab in the moon card, which is coming out of the waters, if you see these two, I don't know, hands or grabs, they are here on the sides of this cup. So that unconscious part of you, that creative part of you has, has went a long path, but it is coming somewhere. It is coming in your hands and it is transformed in something beautiful. So let's say you are making a song out of this story. You are writing a poetry, you are writing a book, you are writing some guidance for other people to deal in this situation. I don't know. Something like that, something creative. And something that is ruled or influenced by your intuition, not emotions. Intuition, and intuition is something much deeper than emotions and emotional reactions. And once we all tap into our intuition, into our higher self, once we establish a connection with our higher selves, then it's much more easy for us to deal with everything in our life and in our work. In November, you have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune here is just a necessary moment. It's just a continuation of this process, of the Hanged Man process, of the Queen of Cups process. It is, for me, the Wheel of Fortune is a moment when you open up to the world, to the universe, to spirit. It is, though not a moment to initiate something, It is either a moment to work with what you have so far, or a moment of going back to something that you were interested before. And for me, the Wheel of Fortune is related to knowledge, because all these figures here are having a book in their hands. So you may be finding something in books, in knowledge. And we have here the Wheel of Fortune in the middle, and it's written Torah, and the Torah is the Jewish Bible. And maybe it's not the Torah that you want to read, maybe it's the Bible that you want to read, maybe it's the Bhagavad Gita that you want to read, maybe it's the Quran that you want to read, or something like that. And by reading and by taking the time to do something that is something that has influenced the human kind on earth, you are opening yourself up to some influences to come to you, which are meant to be for you there. So be aware, in November, you either take time out to go back to something that you always wanted to do, or because of this meditation process that you are starting, you want to read more, you want to know more, because something will happen there. And this, we have to have these moments in our life when we take time to do nothing, in a way, not to do what we always do, but to do something new, to open ourselves, to let something new in, but something that we know or we had an interest in. Just is not a time maybe to invest your coins into something new. It's more like a time to open up to receive. And in December you have the World, which is like, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's like, it's the same card. We have these four elements we have here, but here we have the knowledge, and here we have you. Because as a result of what you are doing in November, you arrive in December with a new understanding. A totally new understanding that is based on 4 pillars of will, of strength, of power, of spirituality, and you are floating in the air. You see things in a different way. Maybe this is already the integration of this side of yours. This indicates traveling as well, so maybe you might be traveling somewhere, but to me it's more like this is the new you, with the awareness that you have acquired during this year, and it's like a little bit the ending of a process. It's like being born. It's the new world, or the end of the old world. And this is the energy that is launching you in 2021. And this is the month in which Jupiter moves to the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn will be moving as well in the air, in the sign of Aquarius. So 2021 will be a year that will give us more air to expand. It will give us more freedom in the things that we are doing. If we are grounding ourselves in 2020, in 2021 we will have more air to expand those things that we have been settling and initiating in 2020. And when the World card came out, the Two of Cups was behind the World card, so I kept it, and this is like a bonus card. So please don't give in to anything in 2020 that is not good enough for you, because this is the promise of 2021. The Two of Cups is on its way, and this is what you want to have. This kind of relationship you want to have, romantic relationship of people, of two people being together, united in a sort of strength. And it's beautiful because like this, all this, it's sort of meant to be. And you see this lion here with eagles, wings. It's all in this card. It's a path. This is supposed to happen. Everything that is supposed to happen will have to happen. So have the strength to let it happen and keep your eyes on the Two of Cups, which is what you want, and it's coming in 2020. Now, I have for each of the readings, after I figure out what it's all about, then I take out a prayer or an affirmation or a mantra from this book, Whispers of Eternity from Paramahansa Yogananda, which is my spiritual guru, Indian guru who came in the United States in 1920 and brought the teaching of ancient India. And that book has beautiful prayers that you can use, that I use for my everyday life, whatever I face. And these are prayers and thoughts coming from eternity, from a dimension of eternal knowledge. And for you, I've chosen the prayer number 156, and it's called Demand for the Rising of the Aurora of Intuition. Infinite Spirit, thy presence is hidden equally behind the warm rays of the sun and the cool light of the moon. Those lights, though welcome and wonderful, reveal only Mother Nature's splendor in matter. They reveal not thee. To me, they are therefore darkness. Thy all-revealing, majestic and supreme light shines not on, but from within the center of everything. Therefore, creating no shadows. Now, Spirit, take all darkness away from me. Whenever I sit with eyes shut, cause to blaze upon me in glory the aurora of intuition, that in its light I may gaze on thee. So ask for the aurora of intuition to come to you, which is light that shines from within. And as a result of that light from within, we can have a higher guidance for our path. Okay, dear Virgo, I hope you liked my reading for 2020. So please leave a comment, follow me, like my channel. I will be doing readings for each of the months for 2020. And if you want to have a personal reading, please, you can find my email address below and I'll be happy to do a reading for you. Wish you all the best. Bye.